Hi everyone, I just wanted to do a quick video on the assignment instructions for the company profile presentation because I think it's always good to be able to read the instructions, but it's also good to have them explained to you by an actual person as well. So I thought I'd just explain it. So this is an online group presentation worth 20% of your mark. And the purpose of this presentation is to pick a company to explore and to find out a little bit about their media relations, both in terms of how they communicate with the media and also how they communicate directly with their audiences as well, since organizations are able to do that much easier now with the advent of the internet. So I've given you a list of organizations that you can choose to work with, and I've tried to pick them to match some of the program areas that you guys are in. So hopefully you found something that's interesting in there. One of the first things that you have to do is you have to sign up for a particular group. So there's 3 or 4 members per group, a maximum of 4. So if you can't sign up, it's because that group is already full. So you want to pick a group, first come, first served in terms of picking the group. And the next thing that you want to do is consider which role within the group that you would be comfortable playing. And this is also on a first come, first served basis. So you will notice there's 4 different roles that are outlined, one being the organizer. This is the person who organizes any Google Slides documents that need to be out there, any in-person get-togethers, and any online communication that's going on. So that's an important role. We also have the editor who will look over people's slides and give them suggestions. Don't make any changes, obviously, if you're the editor, without running them by people first. Also, we'll look at APA formatting and make sure that there's no overlap between the different topics that each of you are choosing within the company as well. Then we'll have a starter. The starter is responsible for including a few specific slides outlining the company. And then we have the closer, and the closer is doing the same thing on the back end of their presentation. That's looking at some of the things just to sort of wrap up the presentation. So hopefully those roles are fairly weighted equally. Sign up, first come, first serve in your group discussion board. Just say, I'd like to be the starter. If you're the first person to say that you'd like to be the starter, then that's your role. If there are only 2 people in your group, I would definitely suggest having the organizer and the editor as those 2 particular roles. And you won't get penalized for any of the roles that you do not have a member that fulfills that role. So if you have 2 people and there's no starter or closer, your presentation won't be expected to have the slides that a starter and a closer need to have. Similarly, if you're in a group of 4 people and everybody's done their work except the closer, it's not on the other members to do the closer's work. You just leave that particular portion of the presentation blank, and you won't be impacted individually by that. But the person who was supposed to do it and didn't, obviously that will impact their mark. So I really want to stress that I know that online groups can be a big problem. I think it's important to work on this skill because we're seeing workplaces move more and more towards this type of thing. But the expectation is that you work with the group for some of the larger things and some of the organizational things, but really you're responsible for your own mark. So if there's somebody that's not communicating, you can try and reach out to them, but just focus on getting your own particular material done, and that will impact them negatively, but their lack of work will not have an impact on your mark as long as you're doing what you're responsible for. In terms of the actual logistics of the presentation itself, there's a minimum of 6 slides plus an APA slide on top of that with where you got your information from. So that's a minimum of 6 slides. So if you want to go above and beyond and show a little bit of extra thoughtfulness and effort, you're welcome to do that. Typically, I would say, like in face-to-face classes, your presentation should have very little words on the slide and more just you talking with images behind you. But I think obviously, since this is an online class, the slides need to be filled with a lot more information in order to be able to present that information in an online environment. Make sure you're citing all the information that you get. If I see any copying and pasting at all, you're going to be written up for academic misconduct. There's no excuse to be copying and pasting information. Even stuff that you're getting off of company communications, you should be putting that stuff into your own words. You should be citing it properly. If you do want to use it word for word, there should be quotation marks in it, so it should be cited properly. So make sure you're adhering to those academic integrity standards, please. And then the other big thing to keep in mind is that you need to be posting in the online discussion board at least once a week. So if you go into Blackboard Shell here, and we go into the groups area. We can see the different groups in here. Let's just take Colgate, for example. We've got some members in here. If you go into your group discussion board, you can click on here and you can see that people are talking. That might be a bad example. Let's go into Oral-B. I know there's people in here talking. Go into the group discussion board. You can see that there's been a few posts in here from two different members, one from Tori and there was another one from another member in there as well. So once a week, even if you're communicating via cell phone, via Facebook, whatever it is, you need to come in here and keep me up to date on what your progress has been in the group assignment. I will be keeping track of this. I'm going to let you guys kind of do your own thing unless I get emailed any problems, let you sort out your own things in here, but I am tracking it. I have a document that has something like, this isn't my document. I do have a document somewhere on my desktop in which I go into everybody's group. See the Sephora one, I've made a note that I went in on September 25th and everybody is communicating very well. There's other ones where I've had nobody in there, so I don't have anybody on the list. So I am keeping track of that. It's important to go in once a week and give me an update and your group members an update on how the progress is going. And if you don't, that will negatively impact your mark. The other thing that I just do want to bring to your attention is where the sources are coming from. So basically with this presentation, you're all choosing different aspects of the company to explore their communication methods. So one person might be choosing their social media to explore in a little bit more depth. Some people might be choosing the strategic plan if you've been able to find that. Other people might be researching any of the news releases that you've been able to see. Maybe you're looking at their infographics. Maybe you're looking at the videos they produce. Whatever it is that you're looking at, you're going to study that particular aspect of the company in depth and making sure that there's no overlap. So if somebody's already doing social media, I don't want somebody else doing social media. So this is the part where you're going to have to work together as a group. One thing that I would like you to demonstrate, it's easy for anybody to just go in and go to their website or just Google and just go to the top results. You guys have already taken Communication Essentials, most people, so you should be aware of the library databases. I am expecting you to use the databases for this particular assignment. So I've given you a couple of different things in Blackboard. If you go into our weekly learning section and you go into weeks 4 and 5, you'll see the PowerPoint part 2, and there would be information about the business databases in here. So have a look through this information because this information will help you in terms of getting a good mark on the assignment. So there's all sorts of information about how to access the databases. You can do so through the library page, and I'd like you to cite your information from 1 or 2 of these online databases: MarketLine, Business Source Complete, Conference Board of Canada, Reference Canada, some sort of specialized database where you're finding information either on the company itself, if you can find information, and if not, on the industry that that company is a part of as a whole. Just to show that you're providing some robust excellent information regarding the topic and not just going to Google. Google's fine, but it needs to be supported with other information. So that part you need to think consciously about. If you have any issues, feel free to contact the library. Jennifer Varco in the library can be a great help for helping you navigate those databases. I'm also here to help out if there's anything else that you need explaining. Other than that, that's sort of a breakdown of the assignment. I hope that you enjoy working in an online environment, coming up with something with people remotely. It's more and more of a skill that's necessary. So like I said, don't be too stressed out if other people are communicating. Get your own stuff done, focused on your own stuff. And if you do that properly, your mark will reflect that. So anyways, I hope that explains it. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give me an email or a call. Thank you.